What is Stoicism? What if you could suffer well, not avoid it, not numb it, but walk through it without flinching, like a man on fire who refuses to scream? What if peace wasn't the absence of pain, but the power to withstand it? We throw around words like stoic all the time: cold, tough, emotionless, brooding. But what if that's not what it ever meant? What if Stoicism doesn't come from hiding your emotions, but from mastering them? So, where does it come from? Stoicism started in ancient Greek around 300 BCE with Zeno, not a space wizard who can grant you any wish, but a merchant who lost nearly everything in a shipwreck and he stumbled into philosophy. He began teaching in the Stoa Poikie, or the Painted Porch, and it's in Athens, hence Stoicism, Stoa Poikie. Later thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius then expanded this philosophy. They weren't armchair philosophers, they were statesmen, a slave, and an emperor. Stoicism wasn't designed for debate halls, it was built on the battlefield of everyday life. So now that we've said what Stoicism is, what isn't Stoicism? Modern pop culture often hijacks Stoicism and rebrands it as sort of an edgy alpha position of personality. You know the type. Andrew Tate barking, emotions are weakness, or David Goggins running on two broken knees and yelling, "Stay hard!" That isn't Stoicism, that's just denial dressed in a hoodie. Real Stoicism doesn't suppress emotions, it transforms them. And it says, don't be owned by your sadness. Don't let pain define you. It's not about being unfeeling, it's about feeling deeply, but still choosing wisely. Not ice, but tempered steel. Now, I want to talk about a show that deeply impacted me, one that I really enjoyed. I watched it over 3 days in the December holidays, and that's Vinland Saga. So you can see glimpses of Stoic discipline in all sorts of fiction, whether it's Zoro from One Piece in his nothing happened moment, which I think is a perfect representation of this philosophy, or any time Levi from Attack on Titan is on screen. There are characters who suffer in silence, act with precision, and live by an unshakable code. But for a full picture of Stoicism in action, I really want to look at Thorfinn. So, Thorfinn starts as a weapon, a rage and revenge filled boy's body. No principles, just pain. He kills because he's told to, because it hurts not to, because it's all that he knows. But when an enemy dies, not by his hand, he's left hollow. And in that silence, that emptiness, he begins to hear something else: conscience, regret, possibility. His journey doesn't end with revenge, it begins with renouncing it. Thorfinn takes the hard road. No more killing, no more shortcuts, not even laying a hand on another person. Even when it's humiliating, even when it means getting beaten unnecessarily, even when it would be so easy to fall back into violence. Just one swing and all this pain will be over. He chooses peace, not as a retreat or as a way to exclude himself from the world, but as an act of willpower. And in one of the most powerful moments in the entire show and all of fiction, he declares, I have no enemies, as he is being beaten and bloodied. Not because he's naive, but because he understands that hatred is a chain, and Stoicism is about breaking it. And I believe it was Confucius who once said that a man who has full control over himself, over his desires, his impulses, is stronger than a man that can defeat a 1,000-man army. And I think it holds true. I also want to talk about Ivan Ilyich, Leo Tolstoy, who made War and Peace, very, very long book, made a much shorter short story called The Death of Ivan Ilyich. And it isn't flashy and it's not epic. It's kind of terrifying because it's also kind of real. There's no dragons, no duels, just paperwork, dinner parties, and shallow friendships, and one slowly encroaching fact. that we're all gonna die one day. Ivan climbs up the social ladder and he does everything right. He becomes a respected judge, he marries a socially acceptable woman, he buys tasteful curtains, and then he gets sick. Suddenly, all distractions lose their flavor. The parties, the job, the status, they don't really matter to him. He sees his family's concern slowly turn into performance. He watches as his friends visit out of obligation, and he realizes with increasing dread that he's built his life on a lie. And no one, not even the doctors, will look him into the eye and admit that it's ending. His suffering isn't just physical, like with many of the things that I've covered before, it's existential. The fear, the panic, the regret, they spiral, and he screams and he begs and he fights until he can't anymore. In the quiet of his final hours, Ivan lets go. Not because it's easy, but because he sees that his fear came from a clinging to control the illusions and mysteries of life that were built on shallow things. When he finally surrenders, he doesn't fall, he floats. He forgives, he accepts, and in that moment of final release, he finds something really unexpected: peace. Real stoicism isn't about dominance, and it doesn't mean enduring pain with gritted teeth. It's about looking your reality, in this case death, in the face, feeling the weight of your life and whispering, "I'm not afraid anymore." Stoicism isn't just for the strong in war, it's for the dying old man on his deathbed as well. And maybe if you practice it while you're alive, you don't have to wait till your last breath to truly start living. Let me give you some key ideas and then some questions to leave you with. This is my ending of the video. Stoicism is not about emotional suppression. It's about transformation. It means responding with virtue and not reacting from fear. I think that Thorfinn shows just how much pain can forge peace. Now let me ask you, what pains in your life are you avoiding or reacting to in a different way instead of confronting and growing from? Are your values truly yours, or are they inherited without inspection? Do you want to be untouchable or unshakable? If you found death today, would you be at peace with how you lived? As a last couple of thoughts, I think the Stoics never gave you comfort, but they handed you a mirror. And if you're brave enough to look into it, you may just find your freedom. Thank you, and see you, Space Cowboy.